Good morning and welcome to Zen Live. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Here in Blackstone, the heat wave has broken, and the mornings are, the days are a little cooler. And we sat on the back porch and had dinner last night, and the mosquitoes ate us. Or at least, when you eat outside, it's always good to have one of your guests be a mosquito magnet. And she got eaten up, and no one else got bit, or at least I didn't get bit. So thank you so much. Anyway, I forgot. Let me start my starter. Trying to keep a little discipline here. Keep it 30 minutes. So, again, I come here with energy to share my story. And it's an evolving story, a developmental story. All of our lives are a developmental story. We get stressed and frustrated and fall into despair when our development stops, when the story hits a brick wall, or we start tape looping, you see. And we know we're tape looping in Groundhog Day, and we don't know how to kickstart development, you see. Life is development. Human consciousness is developmental. We think it stops at teenage years, and then the rest is just downhill. Or we retire from our jobs or careers that push us into development, and now we just tread water and watch soaps and wait to die. No. Human development, the development or evolution of consciousness, is who we are, and this continues, must continue, until the day we die. Whatever point that is. But if we don't but if we cease developing, stop developing, well then we're already dead, and we know it. And the body begins to reflect that and turn in against the trapped energies of life that cannot develop and grow and transcend, begin to take form and stress disorders and all these afflictions that we are burdened with today come about by the entrapment of development. Entrapment of development means that instead of transcending, you go in a tape loop. It's my favorite metaphor, the Ouroboros eating its own tail. That's the end of development. That's the end of the great expectations. So I was reading this morning. I really recommend that you get and read the books by Joseph Chilton Pearce. His most famous ones were The Crack in the Cosmic Egg and The Magical Child. And this one is Evolution's End. And he really is a master in bringing together spiritual paradigms, spiritual knowledge, personal spiritual knowledge with neuroscience and the brain and the understanding of brain development that is mainstream today. But Pearce is unique in that he is not limited by brain science. He is unlimited because he is opened up to the higher intelligence. And I know this. I met him. I went to see him where he lived in Nelson County, and I had met him because he was a follower of Swami Muktananda. I would see him at the ashrams. And so all of his books have that beautiful combination or integration of personal spiritual awakening and scientific knowledge. See, most scientists don't have any personal spiritual awakening. They just learn the science, but personally, they've not experienced that which is beyond science. So they have not touched the fourth intelligence, the implicit order, the potential of human consciousness. And what excited me this morning was I'm towards the end of the book, and he was writing about the great expectations. And he was writing about adolescence. And he said there are 3 characteristics of adolescence that are not part of the accepted scene. First, starting at around 11, the idealistic image of life grows in intensity through the middle teens. Second, somewhere around age 14 or 15, a great expectation arises that something tremendous is supposed to happen. Third, adolescents sense a secret, unique greatness in themselves that seeks expression. They gesture towards the heart when trying to express any of this, a significant clue to the whole affair. What it is that is supposed to happen at this age remains a mystery. Okay, so this, I was reading this and bam! I just saw my whole life. Not like when you die, I see the whole thing. But you know, I'm 80 years old, and I'm here sharing my developmental process. I'm still developing. I'm not dead yet. I'm still growing. I'm still transcending. And I share my transcendence with you because I think it's valuable for you to see somebody 80 years old with a long history of the map that can share the developmental stages I've seen in myself, because they are your developmental stages. And where I have been feedback looped, where I have been blocked, where I have turned back in upon myself and consumed myself, is the same place where you are. We're all stuck here, off and on, because these are all the self-consuming snake, the double bind. I talk about that a lot. The double bind, where you lose and you can't break free, is a turning back of the feedback loop of development, and it can't break through to the other side. It can't break through to the other shore. So it turns in upon itself in anger and hate. And look at our country. And I thought about this adolescent stage. You know, now, and Pierce was pointing this out, and I've always felt this, is that adolescence didn't exist before the modern age. Children, age 11, 12, 13, whatever, they went right to being adults. There was an initiation, particularly for males, an initiation, and you went from being a child, you left the mother, and you entered into the tribe and the adult society, and you had a place. And maybe as an apprentice, you work your way up. But you started right there. You didn't have this gap between childhood and adulthood that's expanding. And one reason it's expanding is because as it's become economically viable, it's profitable to sell stuff to the counterculture. So the rebellion, I've been using the movie in the 50s, the rebellion rebel without a cause with James Dean. So adolescence is a rebel without a cause. And it's inspired by the frustration of the natural developmental awakening of the adolescents who expect something great to happen. This sense of purpose, this idealism, the romance. Oh yes, the heroic journey bursts into the mind at adolescence. That's why the adolescents love heroes, mythic stories, the Knights of the Round Table, all of our mythic movies, all of that is mythical idealism, you see. But what happens? There is no, in our culture, there is no model to initiate the adolescents into a higher realm of expectation. So it gets extended. So now we have adolescents living at home in their 30s. Adolescents living at home in their 40s. The age of adolescence keeps extending. And there's anger. The anger comes when your development is thwarted and there are no models, there are no fathers, there are no guides, there are no gurus, there are no masters, there are no threshold guardians to let you break through to the other side. So we turn back. Look at Hurricane Harvey. Its energy turned back. If you look at it from above, its energy turned back upon itself, and it just, here, Hurricane Harvey, it's just eating, consuming itself, you see. So this big middle stage, childhood, maturity, adulthood, being a developmental part of the society, and adolescence, which is, I rebel, I say no, I'm turned back upon, I can't get through. There are no gates, there's no initiation. The only initiation that we have that turns children, adolescents into men, is the military. How many movies have you seen where the long-haired adolescent kid goes to the Marines and they shave his head, they strip him of his identity. You idiot! And they just and the drill master just slaughters his little individual ego. You're a Marine now, and he transplants this new identity into that brain, and that kid now becomes a brave soldier. Of course, now we have the post-traumatic syndrome, where the brave soldier returns to the adolescent society where he was from, and now he just tape loops back into a world of buying new stuff, pacifiers to satisfy his great expectations. His great expectations are turned into just endless TV programs selling endless new products promising nothing, or a 9-to-5 job going nowhere, you see. See the anger or suicide? You know, either one. Anger is a form of suicide. You blame somebody else. Suicide is just, I can't take it anymore. I can't get out of the tape loop. My development is over. You see, when development is over, life is over. My uncle lived my Uncle Tommy lived really had a great life. It was a joyous life in Tampa, photographer. And then he had a stroke and couldn't walk. And he said, my life is over. I'm ready to die. My story's over. I want to die. You see, the end of story, the end of development, the end of expectation. So anyway, I don't want to get into that. So, I connect dots, and that's how you develop. If you want to know how to develop and get your stream going, that's joke on me. I wish I could get my stream going. You get your stream going. You have to be able to leap and connect dots. This is why I keep talking about the metaphorical mind. Metaphor is connecting dots and making quantum leaps in what the real is, who you are. See, if we can't connect the dots of new information, movies we see, events, things I say, things I'm thinking, everything, the whole field, you see. Everyone lives in a field. And you got all your experiences going on. You got, the little things. Just the cat trying to get the fish. And, the eclipse. And a movie you just saw. And we think this is all just fragmented, inconsequential, nothing's connected. It's all just shit happening, you see. But when the developmental mind, when your Buddha nature, I said up here, great expectations, Buddha or Christ nature. When this Buddha nature awakens, That is the fulfillment of the adolescent expectation. As I remember, I said the adolescent mind, that stage, all the sexual hormones notwithstanding, but I mean the idealism of the adolescent is that something great is going to happen. And that this great expectation. And you look for it. But then nothing happens. You go to school, the schools crush it. The institutions just give you profit to learn. You know, if you can't make money on it, forget about it, you see. So everything gets turned into the flat social matrix. And then you join a crowd, then you join your club, your group of adolescents, and you become the rebel without a cause. You see, and that it gets extended. Now I don't know, and now I reflect on this back to my own personal journey, and I've shared this experience before, and this is new for me to share this experience because you don't like to share, at least you shouldn't like to share your quote spiritual experiences, because you end up like the ancient mariner in the Coleridge poem, where he just has to tell his story to everybody. Oh, let me tell you my story when I got Jesus, or let me tell you my story when I got saved. Did I tell you my story about being saved? Did I tell you my experience? It's like the English patient in that movie. Remember that? He had to tell his story. Well, I've never wanted to do that, but I've been doing it lately because it has a purpose. It fits into the context of the hero's journey. It fits into the context of your developmental life and its stages. You see, development in the brain, in anything, in a business, in a brain, in whatever, goes through stages, and you go through a stage. You develop the brain. The child develops first the reptilian brain. He's just sucking everything and eating everything. And then he develops the mammalian brain, the emotional brain of the early childhood, the middle years. And then he develops the neocortex. So there's the triune brain. See how good I'm remembering this book? The triune brain, there's the 3 stages of brain. Each one is stage specific. Each one develops when the environment supplies what it needs for development. If the environment doesn't supply what it needs for development, the brain doesn't develop. If you take a child, this is why Montessori schools are so good. You take a child in Montessori school, and they supply the needs for the brain as the brain needs it. So the child drives its own development. Institutions operate for the sake of the institution, and the child has to fit the institution, so he can't drive his own development individually. But anyway, I don't want to get that. But the point is that brain development, evolutionary stages, reach a point where, like the caterpillar reaches the point where something great is going to happen. I don't know what it is, because I can't imagine what a butterfly's like, but I know something great's going to happen. I know something important is going to happen. What is it? There's a poem I love. A bodiless child full of... forget it. I'll come back. So anyway, this feeling of something is about to happen, something great is about to happen. You see, so people, adolescents get that upset because something great that's going to happen. Or marriage is something great that's going to happen. You see, these are like these stages of development there that are very rooted into the physical world, you see. But there is also this transcendent element. Something great is going to happen, you see. And so... now, coming back to my story, and I'll feed this back in the context of this, for some reason, all through my, I graduated from high school in 55, and until 1968, That's 12 years, 13 years. I was in a pretty much intense search for this something great is going to happen. Going through, and I had some clues, Thomas Merton, some other books, some other wisdom teachers. You have your clues. You smell the scent of it. What is the it that's going to happen? I sent it over here. You follow. And so I was following the scent of the it. I didn't know what it was. The caterpillar follows the scent towards the cocoon. What happens in the cocoon? It's alchemy. It's magic. It's deep sleep. Deep sleep. You don't know what goes on in deep sleep. I was just watching Inception, and I did a review on it. I hope you, and I talked on it last night, and I did a review on it, a movie review on my website, tokillaminotaur.com. And this was about, basically, if you look at it in the context of development, it was about, in a science fiction way, of liberating the mind, the brain, or the mind, from its Ouroboros, where it tape loops and can't develop. So they go down into the mind, through the 3 layers of the mind, 3 layers of dream, down to the subconscious, and they take out the block. They take out the rock that's plugging up the pipe. They take out the obstruction. And then they get back up to the surface world, the waking dream. And suddenly everything is different. Suddenly we're liberated, we're free. The great expectation has happened, you see. And so anyway, so for the, 1955 I graduate. Before that I was just a lonely high school kid. But then I remember saying, do you believe in God? I says, well, I'm an atheist or an agnostic, I don't know. But that really for me was not a rebellion. It was more like, well, now I'm responsible for figuring out who I am and what truth is, you see. So now I got to do the search. I just can't depend upon, I just can't be just anti-religion, you see. That's another tape loop. Anyway, 1968, somebody gives me an audio tape of Krishnamurti, I go to bed. I listen to it. Inception. Something happened in sleep. Something happened in deep sleep. I don't know. It was a cocoon. But I woke up, I was a butterfly. The worm of my personality, seeking wholeness, seeking the great expectation, seeking the it, you see, woke up as it. I looked in the mirror. I am it. This is it. I could not believe it. This is it. This is what I was looking for, and it's me. The joyous laugh of Zen in Satori. The joyous laugh of Kensho. That's why I love Zen. It's the glorious laugh of being it. All the time I'm searching for it. I go to sleep. Alchemy, something happens. I don't know. Krishnamurti, I don't know if Krishnamurti visited me in my dream. I don't know. It was deep sleep. I don't know. I didn't have any dreams. I woke up. Something's different. Something has changed. I look in the mirror and laugh. I've got all this energy. The world looks like you just had your cataracts removed. That's why I recommend cataracts to everybody, just so you can have them removed. The world is HD TV. Before it was old antenna TV. Now it's HD crystal clear. I look at a horse, and I am the horse. The horse looks at me. We're one. Everything, a tree, the grass. I read Walt Whitman, and I read Walt Whitman as if I'm Walt Whitman when he wrote the poem. I pick up the Bible, and I read the words of Jesus as if I am speaking those words when he spoke them. Je suis Jesus. Je suis, I am. Je suis Walt Whitman. T.S. Eliot. His poems, I pick them up. Je suis T.S. Eliot. A kid comes over to the house and plays a guitar. Je suis the music. Everything. Je suis this. Je suis that, you see. Unity. The split, the division between me and the world, between you and the world, was suddenly gone, you see. Fantastic fabulation. Whatever that means, you see. But so this awakening, I'm it, you see. All the poets speak of it. Thou art that. All of the wisdom teachings point to it. What is it? I don't know. I'm stuck here trying to find it. I know it's there. And then when I give up, you see, and just turn back into the materialistic consumer society, there's a feeling of quiet desperation. There's a feeling I've missed something. There's a feeling that I'm just waiting to die now. I'm ready to die. The story's over, you see. I'm ready to die. So this it, you see, cannot be known. The caterpillar cannot know what the butterfly is. So us and our little materialistic personalities, our little consumer personalities, that is created and supported by our society, because our society lives on consumerism. If everybody stopped buying stuff, the whole thing would collapse. Our society is driven by our consumption. And how do we keep on wanting to buy more plastic? Advertising. So advertising drives, you see, the Ouroboros of our self-consuming, hoping to find it in the next best product. Everything is sold. This is it. Buy this and you'll never have to have another one. This cereal is it. This car is it. This toothpaste is it. So all of our advertising sells us that this product is it. And after we get the product, there's a momentary, whoa, whoopee, I got it. And then, you got anything else? This isn't it. You see? I'm not saying we can't do away with consumerism, but we have to transcend it. We have to use it to transcend. We have to use the pain, the despair, and the feedback loop as our stage-specific leap beyond it. So it's a psychological leap now, not a physical leap into jobs or a physical leap into more trump to a higher tower. This is all on the flat plane. All of this, I'm the number one because I got the most money, or I got the biggest body, or the strongest muscles, or the most beauty, or whatever the one is, you see, is all flat. It is not the it that we're looking for. It's not the it of great expectations. It's not the it we dreamed of when we were young, you see. So don't give up hope about that. You have to understand that this yearning for the it is a yearning for you. And that suddenly, someday, when you make the snake transparent, when you see through the tape loop, you'll be it at whatever level or stage you're ready for. And so this, to finish up, this 1968, when I woke up, this stage of itness, the stage of unity, lasted for a week or two, and then the algae of the old self and the old society and the old relationships and the placemats and the seeking and the yearning all came back, you see. But now I had a key. I had been to the promised land and come back, and now I had to do the work. Now I had to do the yoga, the meditation, the study, the psychodramas, divorce and remarriage, the firings from the institutions, the despair, the nervous break, the whole catastrophe. You have to do the whole catastrophe. You have to do the work. But all the time, you keep the scent of truth like Sherlock. You'll know it when you are it. But you can't know it until you are it, you see. That's the clue. You think we can know it as an object, as an experience. It is not an object. It is not an experience, you see. You are it. You are the experience. And you're already it right now. So when you become it, you realize you've always been it. And that's the joke. When you look in the mirror and you laugh, the joke is that you've always been you. The bell is ringing. Right on time. The joke is that you have always and always be it. So, thank you, and I'll see you this evening at Martini time.